So yesterday, yesterday afternoon, I saw two cows snorting cocaine and playing poker. I have to tell you that the stakes were high. If you are new to this, hi. Those of you who have stuck around and will stick around, hi. If you don't know, here on this channel, I do technology stuff and a few entertainment things, some jokes. I call this techtainment. Technology and entertainment. Just trying to be clever. So, hi, how you doing? All right. So today we will be talking about Zorin OS. Before we get started, just a few little question and answer session, real quick here before we get started with the terrific latest Zorin OS. Someone asked what happened to the weekend live shows. Well, we did a lot over the course of a few years, especially pre-pandemic and during the pandemic. The live shows were always viewer supported from people like yourselves, community driven. Once the pandemic hit and things kind of shut down, the viewership, well, not the viewership so much, but the uh, contributions dropped off. Not surprising during hard times like that. So the shows that were supported through donations, super chats, Patreon, like that, anonymous donations from viewers like yourselves, that kind of changed during the pandemic and post-pandemic. So I don't do as much as I used to do. I would love to. Nothing has changed from my part, but times have changed, understandably so. So to answer that question, what happened to the live shows? That's what happened. If you would like to contribute to the live shows or support the channel or sponsor a live show anonymously, just check out the links below or just shoot me an email and we'll go from there. You can pick a topic. It doesn't necessarily have to be about Linux. It can be Windows or something else, family friendly, of course, and I'll be happy to schedule a live show. Um, and let's see. Thank you for your continued comments on the Lexus. Should you buy a Lexus with hundreds of thousands of miles? That was from, 3 years ago? That continues to get views. Thank you for that. I will do another Lexus podcast about the terrific Lexus brand, and it looks like car prices might be going up again. No. So, yeah, definitely check out a used Lexus with 100,000 miles or more maintained. You should not have a problem. This year is 15 years of Total OS today. Thank you so much. What started off as a hobby has grown into this. Could not have done it without you, really. Yeah. Back in 2010, it was just something to do on cold winter nights, and it had grown to much, much more than when I thought it could be, meeting so many friends here online and live and all that. So thank you once again. Hope to stick around for another 15 years with your support. So thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me. Okay, is there anything else? I may have to cut this short. I'm waiting for a phone call from my nurse, pre-surgical call. Nothing serious. Next week I'm taking time off. Nothing serious. Expensive, but nothing serious. I should recover in about a month, but I will stick around. Next week I'll have time, and if I'm up to it, I'll do more live and maybe some Q&A and all that stuff that we do. So again, thank you. All right, for today, Zorin OS 17.3 is here. I started off with Linux back in uh, 2006 with Ubuntu, and yeah, I have to say thank you to Ubuntu. I don't use it as much today. It's changed over the course of 20 plus years. For today, for this, of course, Zorin OS, dual booting with Linux Mint. I do have Ubuntu, Lubuntu, MX Linux is good for 32-bit, and of course, the terrific Chromebooks have come a long way for Windows users. The terrific Chromebooks. Alright, so what is new with 17.3 Zorin? Well, no more Firefox. Again, the privacy conversation, what I believe to be the privacy delusion. There is no privacy on the internet. The way I would describe privacy, it does not exist no matter what you use in general. That does not mean that you should not try to be concerned about privacy or security. That is not what I'm saying. And I may have some more to say about this in the future about privacy. But they have dropped Firefox for Brave. Brave is terrific. Been using that for both Linux and Windows for quite a few years. It does work. It feels lighter. So Brave is installed the default browser in Zorin OS, the latest one, 17.3. They have improved Windows app support. So if you have to use specific Windows applications, Zorin OS might be able to help you out by sideloading what's called sideloading Windows apps through a package called Wine. Not the sweet red wine that I drink. Wine doesn't always work, but it's built in Zorin. It may work for you, so check it out. There is multi-software package support, snaps, flatpaks, app images, deb packages, and the partridge and the pear tree. But no, so yeah, Zorin OS really truly is a complete operating system, I think, based on my tests and using Zorin over the course of, almost 15 years off and on. And the latest Zorin OS feels lighter. It just feels lighter on this ancient dinosaur PC, which originally had Windows 7 from 2011, only a dual core. And OBS is telling me that the encoder is overloaded. It's the machine doesn't have enough horsepower. Hopefully this will be good enough on the live stream, and when I transcode this into an audio podcast for the TOS Today Patreon page, and you can listen to that without any ad interruptions. Hopefully this will be okay. But yeah, Zorin OS just feels lighter. For GNOME, I never thought I would say lighter and GNOME Desktop in the same sentence. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, right? But it does feel light or light enough to run on an outdated PC. So thank you, Zorin, for making this possible. If you were to search the web for the top 10, not in any particular order, for the top 10 Linux-based systems, you have your Ubuntu's, Fedoras, what do we have here? OpenSUSE, Linux Mint, Zorin, and so on. Debian, CentOS, MX Linux. Yeah, Ubuntu, from what I've seen, is definitely not for beginners. It's still too heavier than Zorin. There are too many tweaks and terminal commands to make it more user-friendly. I don't know why they do that. It's not necessary, but that's what it is. Linux Mint, of course, terrific for Windows users. Fedora, have not used in a while. You guys seem to like it. Awesome. OpenSUSE, have not tested that in a while. Manjaro is Arch-based. Look, if you're using Windows, just stay away from Arch-based. Just trust me on this. Debian Stable is terrific. If you like to tinker or be adventurous, definitely take a look at Debian. CentOS, I've never taken a look at. Kali Linux for penetration testing. What can I say? This is a family channel, so I won't say nothing there. MX Linux 32-bit, great to reviving old ThinkPads. And by the way, ThinkPads and Linux are a perfect marriage. And finally, last but not least, Zorin OS. They've really taken the hard work out of making Linux easier for Windows users. So the Zorin team, Zorin OS has been around, 15 years, and they've just gotten better and better. It just works. And by the way, when I do these tests with these systems, it's usually a full install, not in a virtual environment. There's nothing wrong with that, but to truly appreciate if something can work, you have to fully install it on older machines. Because I'm assuming those of you who are using Windows 10 will wonder, what do I do with this older machine? Do I have to buy a new computer? Well, you don't have to. You don't have to. In fact, full disclosure, I have installed Windows 11 on completely outdated dinosaur PCs to get it to work. Yes, Windows 11 is light enough to work on older computers, if you know what you're doing to tweak the system. I don't recommend it, but if you wanted to try, I guess you could try. Should you do it? Probably not. That's why I said try Zorin OS or Linux Mint or even Chrome OS Flex super light. If you want pure speed, yeah, check out Chrome OS or a Chromebook. But yes, you can install Windows 11 on older computers. I've done it 3 times. It can be done. Windows 11 is lighter than some Linux-based systems such as Ubuntu based on my real world tests. Now if you have a newer computer, it's probably not going to matter. But that being said, Zorin OS would be an excellent choice for a Windows 10 PC. Alright, give me a minute here. Let me grab some coffee. Alright. Okay. So you can get more information, of course, off the Zorin OS website. There are different versions for Zorin OS. There is the core version, which is free. There is the pro version. I believe it's $47.99, something like that. That's going to give you more desktop layouts, which are actually really slick, I think, and much more a suite of applications that you may need. My advice is to try the core version first, and if that's okay but you need more, check out the pro version. I think the price is fine, and that also helps support the team who take the time to create this terrific operating system. I've tested both in the past. They're both good. I don't have the pro version. I just don't need it myself since I've been doing this quite a long time. But if you are new to all this and want a full suite of software, full set of applications, then check out the 17.3 Pro. And no, I am not being paid to say this or anything. This is not a sponsored video. Just from my previous tests in the past, the Pro version is certainly good enough for Windows users. If you're used to specific Windows apps, Zorin OS has the capability to what's called sideloading Windows apps through a software called Wine, not the red wine that I love. And that may be good enough for you. It's never worked for me in the past, but it may work for you. And there are also Linux alternatives to favorite Windows software that may be just good enough for you. You don't know until you try, so give it a try. On a spare machine, I wouldn't quite delete Windows yet if you're not ready. ThinkPads work great with Linux. You can get very nice refurbished ThinkPads for about $200. That'll run anything, and those things are just ThinkPads are the Lexus of laptops. They just go on and on and on, and very seldom break down. I got one now I bought last year, a refurbished one that's 6 years old, and it runs Windows 11 perfectly fine. It's fast enough, and they just last a long time. So I would test Zorin OS on a separate machine, inexpensive machine, and see if you like it. Then go from there. That's probably the best advice I can give you as a Windows user. So check it out. Alright, I'm going to check the chat room here, see if anybody's here. If not, then we'll wrap this up shortly. If you are watching this, don't be shy. If it's a first-time viewer, please do say hello. You don't have to, but it would help. I hate doing these by myself, but I'm just trying to help out people out there. All 1 billion Windows users out there who are saying, what am I going to do with my Windows 10? Well, you can try this. When I do these videos, these shows, I try to put myself in the eyes of a Windows user. And it's hard to do after 20 years. And that's where I am coming from. It's easy, like I said 15 years ago. If all you do is Linux, it's easy to say Linux is the best. If all you do is Windows, it's easy to say Windows is the best. If all you do is Mac OS, it's easy to say Mac OS is the best. Well, how is that helping the 1 billion Windows users who don't know what to do or want to switch, possibly switch? Well, you have to use both Linux and Windows 11 and try to compare the both. And, that's what I do. I've helped thousands of users. I'm sure I've pissed off thousands of users. Yes, I've lost thousands of subscribers by telling the truth. Do the right thing. Doing the right thing may not be the least stressful. It might not be the most profitable, but it's always the right thing. And I know I'm doing the right thing because I've had comments and emails saying thank you, thank you, thank you. So do the right thing, okay? In life in general, not just when it comes to operating systems. Do it with family, friends, and all that without being too philosophical here. Anyway. All right, I don't see anybody in the chat. I'll give this a 5-minute warning, and then we'll wrap it up. Again, if somebody's watching, I know this is early morning, non-scheduled live event. I don't expect a lot of responses here, but that's okay. I had some time, so let me check my messages here. Looks like we're good. All right. Has anybody else tried Ubuntu lately? Tried to install it on an outdated PC without trying to tweak the system? Man, it is a lot of hard work, a lot of time involved. I don't mind. I don't mind experimenting and have that on my other gateway, Ubuntu, dual booting on 2 SSDs with Ubuntu. And by the way, if you're gonna try Linux on an older PC, definitely get an SSD. For this one, I'm using the original hard disk drive. It still works, not recommended, but it does work. So yeah, replace it with an SSD. It's not that hard. Okay, let's see. Oh, Donald. Hi, Donald. How are you? Are you new to the streams? If you are, welcome. You have not tried Ubuntu? Okay, well, welcome, Donald. Good to have you here. If I may ask, what are you using? And if you're not using Linux at all, that's okay too. Yeah, Donald says I am new. Welcome to the live show. It's great to have you here. I always like meeting new people virtually. Um, I don't know. That's just the way I am. You know, Windows 7. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Windows 7 prior to Windows 11 was the last great Windows. Windows 11 surprisingly is light. It's lighter than Ubuntu Linux. I never thought I would say that, but it's anyway. Hi Ben. Ben just joined in. How are you? So Donald, what are you going to try Linux or been thinking about it? Uh, have you tried a Chromebook? Chromebooks outsold MacBooks during the pandemic. Uh, that did surprise me in the beginning, but then once I did some research, it did not surprise me, if that makes any sense. I believe Windows 10, they will allow you to get extended support for a fee. I forget what that is. Um, yeah, if you really have to use um, Windows. Mr. Warren RCG popped in. Someone is listening to Herbie Hancock on that phone. Okay, I like Herbie Hancock. All right, Donald. So you've been playing with Pop OS. I did like Pop OS when I tested it. I still say Zorin OS is the best implementation of the GNOME desktop, but Pop OS is good. You hate communicating through typing. I understand. Look, if we can get support and donations for the live shows on the weekends, Donald, we can do something live, face to face, like I used to do before the pandemic. And if we can get enough supporters, I'll be happy to bring the live shows back. Those are always a lot of fun. Ben says you just woke up. Ben, I will guess you just you're tired last night from compiling Linux from scratch, right? Just a guess. How is how is Pop OS working out for you, Donald? So? Okay, fair enough. Have you tried like Linux Mint, Zorin OS, Chromebook, and have you used Mac before? I don't have a Mac. I don't really have the need for one. I wouldn't mind having one just to talk about it. So if anybody out there has a used Mac they don't need, would like to donate it, let me know. KDE over GNOME. KDE Plasma Desktop is definitely going to be lighter than GNOME in my previous tests. Absolutely. I still prefer the Mate desktop from Linux Mint. Is terrific. Ubuntu Mate is good. As far as GNOME, what I'm using now, Zorin has done quite well. It's still not my favorite, but it looks great. It works. It's light enough to do all this. Not as light as Mate, but it does work. So yeah, I can't complain. You have Pop OS installed in an older MacBook Air. Nice. Is it fast enough though? Yeah, man, you're doing XFCE. Okay, that's also light. Not bad, Donald. Okay. Let me see if I can show you my desktop here without this thing crashing. Let's see here. Look at the stats. Alright, so we're dropping some frames here. Hopefully it's not too bad, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is just my Zorin OS desktop here. Again, I got the panel at the top for this one. The Z menu, dark theme. I think it looks terrific. Yeah, like I said, the only thing bad about this computer, it's only a dual core, but I think it's fast enough to keep the stream going. Hopefully there's not too much buffering or skipping. Let's see here. Let's go to System Monitor. Alright, well, not bad. I got this maxed out at 8 gigs. It's using 2.9 gigs, which is kind of light for the GNOME desktop. And the CPUs are about 70%. Again, not bad for a machine Lenovo from 2011. Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, not bad at all. Anyway, that's a quick look at my desktop. Yeah, not bad at all. Ben says last time you had Zorin was version 9. Wow, that was a while back. Yeah, these systems here that I use, like Zorin, obviously I'm not a new Linux user anymore, but you know, with Windows 10 coming to an end, a lot of misinformation and confusion out there on YouTube about you have to get rid of Windows once Windows 10 Expires, Windows 11 is too heavy. It's bullshit. Sorry, I just cursed. It's not true. You can install Windows 11 on older computers if you want to. It can be done. It is lighter than some Linux. It's not recommended, but it can be done. Yeah, Donald, you would need a Windows 10 key. That is true. Um, if you want to keep Windows. If you absolutely don't need Windows, um, again, Zorin, Linux Mint, Chrome OS Flex might be an option for you. Um, yeah. We are about, what is it now? 3 weeks away from the official release for Ubuntu 25 Puffin. That's the one I've been testing on my other desktop. It seems okay. You're on an old desktop PC and it is doing good for its age. Yeah, computers in general, if you can keep them cool, running cool and clean, they should last longer. About the only upgrade you need is an SSD and max out the RAM if you can. Other than that, you should be okay. Like I said, this one here originally had Windows 7 dual core. I got it maxed out with 8 gigs of RAM. And this one has the original, this is the original hard disk drive. Like I said, it's amazing. It still runs. I've had some comments about why in the world do you have to use the terminal in Linux today in 2025? You should not have to. I agree. If you are migrating from Windows to Linux, you should not have to use a terminal. That's why so far in Zorin OS you don't have to use it that much. Can't say you never will. Linux Mint, I would say 99% of the time you're in good shape. In Ubuntu, it's kind of like half and half to make it more user friendly. But I would have to agree with that comment. Why should you be forced to use the terminal today when it's not necessary? You got 32 gig of RAM on that system, Donald. Okay, that definitely should handle it. Uh, AMD FX A350, RX F80, 8 gigabyte, 32 gig of RAM. Okay. Yeah, this particular machine here has integrated graphics. Um, yeah, I don't want to put too much into this one. When I'm ready, I'll just pick up a new PC. Like a Ryzen 7 or greater, or a GeForce 3000 or 4000 series card. Um, the CPU is running at 4.3 gigahertz full time. Yeah, this one here I have is, I think it's 3 gigahertz. Yeah, building your own is, I think that's cool. I never had the patience to build my own, Donald. Yeah, maybe I'm just lazy, but I've always preferred buying them, complete, then go from there. Yeah, I am not a gamer. Game a little, but not that much. But I've always preferred buying them complete. Building them is cool, but if something goes wrong, now you have to track it down to see what the problem is. When you buy it pre-built and something's wrong, the complete desktop is under warranty. So if I got something in and it wasn't booting or something wasn't right, it's under warranty, so I don't have to mess with it. Again, just a personal option. One of my friends needs a new computer. The one she has is 10 years old plus. She knows nothing about computers. I just look at a Windows 11 PC with a Ryzen 5. Nothing fancy, 8 gigs of RAM for about $400. She just goes online to, check email, pay bills, stuff like that, and that should be good enough for her. You built your first PC in 1998, the good old days with the start of the internet. Yeah, I remember those days. A much simpler time, right? More freedom back then. Well, like I said, it was people were just beginning to learn how to use computers, and back then we had CompUSA, Radio Shack, DSL, Netscape Navigator. There was no talk about internet privacy or viruses and malware. It was a much simpler time. So yeah, it's a lot more complicated now. There's no question, no matter what you use. And yeah, I kind of miss those days. The background music, by the way, if you hear it, it's original tunes by Dad from Italy, a gifted songwriter. And if you want to check out the songs, there's a link below in the show notes to his music website. All original tunes, mostly not sung by him. But yeah, if you like Italian love songs, check out my dad's stuff. All right, I will. Yeah, that's fine, Donald. You can go and come back. I'm going to stick around just a little bit longer before my call from my nurse. Um, Razor Join says there's ways to activate Win without a key. Involves a KMS server. Easy to find tutorials for it. Okay, I've never done it, but okay, thank you. Again, if you don't know what you're doing, I would probably say don't do that with an outdated computer. Um, yeah, and just try something like Zorin OS or Linux Mint, Chrome OS Flex, things like that. Yes, you can run it unactivated. Don't know for how long. They may restrict updates, right? Security updates. something like that. Ben, Ben is tired of talking about Linux going back to bed. All right, Ben. Rest up, buddy. Compiling dreams of Gentoo, Ben? Yeah. Um, I just got a comment on the channel. Somebody has switched from Windows to Linux Mint. Awesome. I need to do a live show and title it "Don't Throw Away That Windows 10 PC." Hang on a second. Wait. Let's try this. Yeah, LMD, I've tested that in the past. I think they still offer 32-bit support, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I think, yeah. Guys, is this stream okay? It's not buffering too much because I'm looking at the OBS stats. There are some drop frames. Not too bad. Um, Peppermint OS? Yeah, I do like Peppermint OS. It's good. It looks fine, Razer. Thank you. Okay. Like I said, I'm very surprised how lighter weight this Zorin OS is with with GNOME versus say Ubuntu. Man, Ubuntu used to be so awesome. It's why is it taking so long to get your act together, man? I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just me. So on this Zorin, all I have is the default Brave browser. Um, what else am I going to install on this? Maybe Chromium. There's something new called Florp that looked pretty good. Maybe Opera. Yeah, Zorin Lite is okay. With the whisker menu, yeah. You're not a fan of the way they lay it out on their custom one? I think you could change that or modify it, right? If I'm not mistaken. Um, Yeah, I've tested it before. Look, look once again. It's designed for all this you see. It's designed for Windows users, and there's a lot of them out there who are, lost, new to this, maybe have received bad advice in the past, misinformation. There's still a lot of crap out there that's just not accurate. So I think for Windows users, all they care about is this going to work? Do I have to buy a new computer? So, I mean, that's over the years, that really hasn't changed. Less headache means more freedom, right? Right? More freedom of life to live the way life you want to, not solving puzzles, as somebody said. Oh, the PC you're on now is from 2008. Wow, that's awesome. I did notice something in Zorin OS. So if I try to, for example, I'm playing my dad's tunes on the Audacious music player. If I right click for song info, oh, now it works. Okay, it didn't work before letting me type in the information here to modify the. All right, it works. I'm not sure what happened there. Could be my Bluetooth keyboard. I dropped this so many times I had to put tape on it. But 2008 Razer, that's pushing it. Yeah. Although my ThinkPad, the one with MX Linux, originally had a Windows XP. I don't know. Maybe I got you beat. Although it's probably around the same age. Yeah, won't be gaming on it. I didn't think you would. Yeah.
Listen, the birds are singing. The spring is finally here. My broken heart is crying. Where the roses catches my teardrops.
You have Spiral Linux? I've never heard of that. From 2005. I think your machines belong in the Smithsonian Museum. Yeah, my first computer, I'm trying to think, was it a Packard Bell? Compact Packard Bell? It's been a while. I don't think those two companies exist anymore. All right, I'm going to have to wrap this up here shortly before my consultation with the nurse, but let's give this another 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the max, and then we'll wrap this up for this morning. So if there's anybody else out there watching has not said anything yet, would like to post a comment or say something now, or any other questions before we wrap it up, and I will start my day. I got a feeling the recycling centers at the end of this year might be busy with the Windows 10 computers, Razer. If I had to guess, if these people don't get enough advice, correct advice, or enough help, I got a feeling that's what's going to happen. Um, and I suppose this goes in cycles, every few years or so. I think this is one of the reasons, the obsolescence that Google decided to change their updates on their Chromebooks. If you buy a new Chromebook Plus, you get at least 10 years of support. That's not bad for a $200 plus computer when you think about it. It really isn't. So at least they're trying to do something. Yeah, pick up a cheap Linux box. Yeah. Like I said, ThinkPads, refurbished ThinkPads for about $200. Probably going to be your best bet. They just work with Linux quite well. Chromebooks for about the same price work quite well with Chrome OS. If all somebody wants to do is just, use Google Docs or get on the web and all that stuff, maybe that's all they need and you're good for 10 years. It's hard to beat. It really is. Alright, so before we wrap this up, since I started off with the joke, let's end this with the joke. So, I ordered a chicken and an egg off the internet. I wanted to see which comes first. Bada bing. That's the joke du jour, the joke of the day. And anyway, so yeah, I have to get off. I'm waiting for a phone call from my nurse for my pre-surgical checkup for next week. So I gotta. Oh, hi Joe. How are you? We will catch up, Joe. I promise. Somehow, some way. I'll have some time next week when I recoup from my surgery. So maybe next week we'll have some time. But anyway, just for you, Joe, I'm gonna stick around 5 more minutes. How are you, my dear friend? Chicken. So the joke was, I ordered a chicken and an egg off the internet. Which came first? Donald says the chicken. Okay. Might be. I started off with the cow joke, Joe. Yesterday I saw 2 cows playing poker, snorting cocaine. I have to tell you that the stakes were high. Man. Yeah, I think I'll be okay. My mom is freaking out. You know Italian moms. My son, my son. I said, gee, Ma, who needs to be knocked out? You or me with the anesthesia, My son, my son. Jeez. I get it. That's what moms do. Yeah, I like the cow joke too. Moo. You know, there's something new. It's a wintergreen uh, uh, nose inhaler stick like Vicks, uh, and it's called Boom Boom. I just saw it. It's brand new. Wintergreen nose inhaler. Boom Boom. I'm like, well, shoot. If somebody was smart, they should invent a cocaine inhaler. You know, call it Boom Boom. Anyway, yeah. Mothers are always mothers. No kidding. Yeah, that is true, my friend. Yes. Yeah. Boom, bang, boom when you take it, bang when you hit the floor. Bada boom. Of course. Duh. Oh, I missed the live weekend shows. So much fun. So this, when we're done here with this, the next few days, I'll have this transcoded into audio without the interruptions on the Toss Today Patreon page. Just a reminder for everybody else, if you like to listen to this without any ad interruptions. We all do need to laugh more these days. Man, ain't that the truth? And the Donald Trump memes and jokes, Joe, are flying all over the place, if you know what I mean. Yes, scary times, but I have faith in this country. We've been through scary times before. Uh, I think what Bernie is doing with these rallies is simply amazing. No surprise. If you've been watching those at all, he had a few rallies last week out west, and I think a total count of people was almost 100,000. That's amazing. He probably knows nothing about Linux, but that's okay. Not required. Anyway, all right. Anything else before we wrap this up? Donald is new here. Joe, say hello to Donald, by the way. Razor, I think Ben had to get off. Anything else before we wrap this up? I know, Donald, you were new. Do you have any final questions or comments? Uh, my dad's, yeah, he called the other day. He's having surgery in July. Um, yeah, he has been keeping busy. He finally wrapped up this recent project of his, as you know. God bless him, 88. Still a ball of fire. So I wish I could have been there. I just, with everything going on here, with, well, you know what's going on. So I just couldn't go. Um, feel guilty as, yeah. Anyway, Razor says, gonna mess with some distros, some more distro hopping. Okay. Yeah, I don't do that anymore, or not as much. But yeah, I don't really do that anymore. So okay, I will say goodbye for this. We'll catch you guys later. Donald, great to have you stop into the chat. Hope you'll stop in again sometime if you have some time. And thank you, Joe. And yeah, you guys know how to reach me. And be safe out there. Have fun. Arrivederci. Peace.